Alright, in this video we're going to return to voxels. So one of the first things that we want to do is hit our tilde key, get our terrain boxes turned back on. So if we remember, that's E_terrain boxes. We're going to take that 0, make it a 1, so that we can see those. And we're going to go over to miscellaneous, voxel objects, and we're going to snap in our voxel object. Alright, I don't like the way that's snapping, so we're going to come off our 64, make it 32, and that's a little better. There we go, that's pretty good. And we will bring that voxel object down. It might be a little closer than I really want to be. I think what we'll do is bring that up and then scale down the voxel object a little bit. And we'll change our grid again down to 16. That's pretty good. Now, unlike before, we can't just start digging in here because we have terrain in the way. So we have to go to terrain, to holes, and we have to cut out some of our terrain here. And I try to clip that in pretty evenly. I think we'll make that work. We have to have that hole so that we have somewhere to go once we have our voxel terrain. So we're going to come back, and I should have done the holes first, so hit Control T, bring this up, see if we've got the right one. Nope, we grabbed the wrong one. See, that's what I get for not naming them. Alright, so we've got our voxel object in place. We've got our hole cut in our terrain. Now we just have to come down, and there's a couple things we have to do. We still want to click our link to terrain like we did before. And now we want to put copy terrain into voxel. And you can see that suddenly we get all that back. The terrain is still gone. The voxel has just matched where that mesh was based off the height map. So we are good there. Now all we have to do is go back to our voxel painter. Make sure we're on soft subtract this time. And that brush size is just about right. We'll make it a nice even 4. Come down in here. Oh, forgot to Scroll down to the bottom, get off terrain default, and we will do terrain cliff. And you could come back and use material to paint that on later or to touch it up. But this isn't starting out too bad. I'm going to lower that brush just a little, maybe 3. And we can start to push in our cave. Now the only thing we have to watch out for is these edges. But you can see right there just barely where maybe I should have cut that out a little bit further. But we can always soft create that back up. In fact, if we want, we can soft create some of this. Kind of make a lip to this. Go back to soft subtract and start working that in. Once we're behind the edge of that terrain, then we can go in behind it. That's no problem. We can get that all going. And you can shape this really any way you want. Now, having said that, I know somebody here is going to try and make a little tunnel down to the bottom on the other side or something. And you know what? You can do that. It will work. If you go down to the other side and you've got your voxel object there, you made it big enough to cover that, you will be able to punch a hole between the two. But you may not be too happy with your results. What can happen is, although it'll work, is once you get into play mode, you may find that at both entrances you're getting a reaction to the terrain having a hole punched in this voxel object on 2 different sides. And sometimes you can look down in and you can actually, like, the terrain is just gone and you'd be looking in this case at the ocean below it or something. So that is an awesome idea. If you're going to do that, then make your hill smaller, give yourself a good voxel object, and just like we did our land bridge, build that up instead of drilling into it, and build it up around your cave system. And that will let you do that. And then you would have a very nifty little runaround cave in here. Oops, soft creating again. So now we have an awesome little cave with a little bit of buildup. And that is how we do caves. So just remember, we have to make sure that we punch the hole in the terrain and that we copy the terrain to the voxel. And that's going to pretty much have you good to go. We will go back in. Oops, not the one I want. Tilde key. And we will turn off our terrain boxes. And now we'll do a little play testing, as we do. And now we have created a nice little cave in here. And as long as you've got the room in the voxel object, you can get as elaborate with this as you want. So there we go. We have our cave. So that'll finish for this second part 2 of the voxel terrain. This second part 2, there you go. For part 2 of the voxel terrain, now you know everything you need to know about voxels, and I will see you in the next video.